Would I be the asshole for telling my ex-crush what I think of her apology? Throwaway and on mobile, sorry for formatting. This is a long, so I'll try to keep it concise. Also, there's stuff that happened in the past where I'm pretty sure I am the asshole, but I'm asking for judgment on this specific incident. I got my first girlfriend when I was 17, about 10 years ago, 27 male, now. At the beginning of senior year, she broke up with me to date her best friend. I was heartbroken. No one else seemed to give a crap, offering such useless platitudes as, there, and, it happens, etc. I became friends with another girl, and we shared a lot of interests. I eventually became infatuated, but she was already in a relationship. Due to some miscommunication, combined with wishful thinking, I'm sure, I came under the delusion she was interested in me, and would leave her boyfriend if I told her how I felt. After all, it happens. She did not. After ghosting me for a week, she emailed me to say that, knowing how I felt, she wasn't comfortable being friends anymore. She blocked me and went full NC, deserved and justified, in hindsight. Too embarrassed and humiliated to tell anyone what had happened. I had no one to explain to me exactly what I did wrong. I confessed to her in a private area, secluded from other people, because I was so nervous. Never occurred to me that'd be creepy. So I withdrew into myself, now knowing that I was completely unlovable. Not even a girl I thought was my best friend would stay friends with me after I confessed. So I chose not to bother with friends at all. Went to therapy, but too embarrassed to explain, so that didn't work. Eventually figured out how much of a creep I was. About 3 years ago, so 7 after the fact. I have no friends outside of work, and I don't see family that often. No dating, either. Now. She just sent me an email a few days back. She said she hopes I'm doing well, and that she feels guilty for not explaining that I'd scared her. That she hopes I'm in a better place now, that she's sorry for how she handled it, but that it was the right thing for both of us. I read. It reopened wounds, and it felt so condescending. I lost it. I wrote out a scathing email telling her how she had utterly crushed my self-worth to dust, how I'd spent fucking years convinced I was unfixable, and that my self-improvement had nothing to do with her. I told her that rejecting me may have been the right thing for both of us, but not to pretend she didn't do any damage, or that it did me any favors. How I was still struggling against the mentality that I'm worthless, and that her self-serving apology is a waste of bandwidth. I told her to have a nice life, and to stay the fuck away from mine. I did not, however, hit send. It's sitting there in my drafts, festering. I don't know whether to reply, or just delete her email. But even thinking about it just makes me furious. So, in short, WIBTA if I hit send. Too long did not read. Girl who rejected me emails years later to apologize. Should I tell her too little, too late? Update. Well, that was expected. No, I didn't think I wasn't in the wrong, but I wanted to see, anyway. More wishful thinking, I'm sure. No, I will not be contacting her in any way, shape or form. Heard that loud and clear in all caps from everyone and their grandmother. Thank you to those of you who suggested talking to someone. To those of you telling me that, I need to choose to be happy, thank you. I'll be sure to apply that in the future. Maybe if I'm skydiving without a working parachute. And to those of you who have made it clear you consider me to be a gaping, oozing, prolapsed thank you for your honesty. I pretty move asked for it. Asking mods to lock down this post. Judgment as clear as Yeah. I would say blaming your entire self-concept and worth on a single rejection years ago and punishing that person currently because you were too embarrassed to tell the truth in therapy, would make you the asshole. Okay, wait. Let me get this straight. You became infatuated with your best friend. You approached in a private, albeit creepy, setting and expressed your feelings. She didn't reciprocate those feelings, and decided NC was best because you were infatuated with her. So somehow this is her fault that killed your self-worth, esteem. She literally gave you the reason for NC. She reaches out years later wanting to mend bridges and you have a scathing email ready to go? Dude, YWB the asshole. You are the asshole, and you are projecting your insecurities onto this poor woman. Go back to therapy, be honest with the therapist and yourself. Hitting send would definitely make you the asshole. She did nothing wrong and you even said it yourself. How you went about it back then was creepy. You can't blame her for cutting you out completely after that. Plus you two were in high school. Hell, even as an adult it's tough to maintain a friendship after one person confesses feelings that the other doesn't share. It takes a certain type of maturity, and who has that at 17? Judging by your response to her recent email, I'd think that you're not there 10 years later. She reached out and apologized. What would sending your reply accomplish? Trying to make her feel hurt like you felt all those years ago? That would only prove that she was right to ghost you all those years ago. Don't reply. Just delete her email and move on with your life. You are the asshole, get therapy. Yeah, you are the asshole, buddy. WIBTA without a doubt. Grow up. Don't send that. What would this accomplish in your eyes? You are the asshole. Sounds like the girl had really good reasons to be scared of you. Am I the asshole for not giving my father a chance to accept me? Throwaway B, see anonymity and touchy subject, so I expect some hate here. I, 33 MTF, have always had a little bit of a dysfunctional relationship with my father, 63 M. Him and my mother, 61 F, divorced when I was about 4. They took great steps to make sure that I knew that it was not about me. He was always present in my life. I genuinely loved him and thought of him as a good person and a role model. During the last presidency of the USA, I started to see a new side of him. Remarks about liberals, Democrats, etc. I shrugged, because we are all entitled to our opinions. But something changed during the pandemic. I found myself and realized I was transgender. I came out first to my girlfriend, then a few friends, and then my mother. Everyone made me feel loved and adored. But I knew I needed to come out to my father, because that's not something you get secondhand. Then I saw some comments made by him and his friends on his Facebook, jokes and hateful remarks regarding transgender people. I was enraged. I felt ashamed to be related to him. So rather than even call him to say anything, I blocked him on everything and moved on with my life. I don't need someone who's willing to say stuff like that. A couple of months after that, I wound up coming out publicly on social media, and I felt liberated. Around my birthday this year, he texted me to say happy birthday, and I ignored it. I wound up getting a text a couple days later from my cousin, who knows about me, saying that my father was worried about me since I hadn't replied and he couldn't find me on social media anymore. Could I at least let him know I'm alive? So I decided to be the bigger person and at least explain why I wasn't around at all for him. I wrote him a massive text response, starting it by telling him that I was blocking his number. And here was why. I detailed out what I'd seen on his Facebook, the change that I'd gone through, who I really was, and thus why seeing him say that had cut so deeply. That I was alive, and I was fine, but would never see him again, never talk to him again. I did not ever want anything to do with him again. I sent it, blocked his phone, and then sent my cousin a message letting her know what I'd done. Everything was great for a week, at which point my cousin messaged me trying to convince me to speak to my father again, saying that, maybe you're the one who is supposed to help him change his ways. My own thought is that it is not my responsibility to help him change if he is in fact a hateful bigot. Trust me. I saw a lot on his Facebook. Then why would I even waste my time talking to a brick wall? My girlfriend, who has supported me through everything, and my mother both think my response was fine. Though even my mother thinks that maybe I should have had one final sit down with him and done it in person. However, my cousin and aunt, father's sister, both still think I need to give him the benefit of the doubt to be the father you need. So, Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit. Thank you everyone for your comments and opinions. I feel more justified in my decision than I did when I first made it, and those who named me asshole have given solid justification as to why. You've given me a lot to consider. I did my best to reply to a bunch of people, but I'm going to vanish off this throwaway now. I've left context regarding a lot of my decisions, the relationship I had with him in more detail, etc., in comments on this post. Feel free to sort through them if you too post an opinion and have questions. Not the asshole. Congratulations on coming out. You're not obligated to keep a relationship going with someone who you feel is toxic or cannot create a safe space for you. Not the asshole. You are correct, it is not your responsibility to change a bigot's mind. That is up to them. If your father wants to be in your life, he needs to prove to you that he is worthy, and that means no longer being bigoted. This is a message to bigots. You never know who in your life your messages of hate are hurting. Something about this is weird, off. If you got along with your dad and he was a decent person for 30 years, it seems a little rash to completely cut him off just based on social media posts without having any kind of conversation with him at all. Unless I'm missing something, I'm not sure how he went from being a good person and role model to irredeemably bad so easily. It seems like you would have talked to him before making that leap. It would appear that you weren't that fond of him to begin with if it only took a nudge to push you over the edge. Oh please. How is it your job to re-educate an the happy family? Police will probably crap on my response, but they don't know what it's like to be rejected and hurt by someone who is supposed to support you. He doesn't deserve any more of your attention. You get to decide, no one else. An in-person meeting might be fine. Then again, maybe it will add facial expressions, hurtful words, and an experience that you will never forget, and not in a good way. Why take the chance? If you're okay with it, then you're okay. Other people will have to deal with your father's assholery in their own ways. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Transitioning is such a personal thing, and I would imagine it's a huge, emotional job. I doubt you'd have the emotional energy to teach him. In my opinion, people like your father who are so closed-minded don't have the capacity to change or to learn. All the best to you. I hope from now on, life goes smoothly for you. Not the asshole, because your journey is yours and yours alone to determine. That said, while it's true you don't have to be his LGBTQ+ Sherpa and help him figure out why he is so wrong, if you don't, who will? You say that this man was once a good father. Maybe it's still there buried under all the fear that last president put into people. But, definitely not the asshole if you do nothing. All the best as you go forward. Not the asshole. In my opinion, I don't think you should have to be someone's reason to see other people as people. There are people who had their entire world turned upside down by people they thought they could trust. I don't see the love in possibly endangering yourself for someone else's epiphany. You are a person, not a MacGuffin in a Lifetime movie. I actually think it's quite disrespectful that they would even think that. Have they said your father acknowledged or showed signs of changing? What would have even happened? Well, I think these people were beneath me, but now that my child is a member of that community, I guess I have to show some basic decency. Excuse me, but I don't think I like that option much better. Not the asshole. I wish my brother, 22 FTM, would cut contact with our dad. Our dad is the same way, and often aggressively so. He constantly deadnames my brother, refuses to stop misgendering him, blames his being trans on attention-seeking and pressure from friends. It's horrible. And my dad wonders why I didn't talk to him for 5 years when he told me that he's okay with me being gay as long as I keep it a secret because he has a reputation to keep. Am I the asshole for not taking baby to visit in-laws? My husband, 33M, and I, 31F, have a baby together, only a few months old. His parents live about 20 minutes away. Now, we have taken our daughter to visit them a handful of times, but the last they saw her was about 3 months ago. There was a disagreement over a birthday party for SIL's young daughter. I didn't feel comfortable taking my baby to. There was too many people attending, about 20 adults invited, plus however many kids. Husband and I only moved into the area recently, so almost all of those people are strangers to me. So, Mill kept insisting we go to this party even though I wasn't comfortable with it. I kept politely declining, apologetically, and stated why I was uncomfortable with it. I then asked that in the future she message me privately about such things rather than arguing publicly on my page. She said, "You got it. That's not even what I'm really asking about, but what happened after." Mill stopped contacting me altogether, except for comments on pictures of our daughter saying she missed her, wished she could see her, etc. I mentioned, "Hey, you can visit us anytime. Just shoot me a message and we'll set something up." She didn't message me, not once, for 3 months. Then all of a sudden Sil and Mill have it in their mind that I'm trying to break up the family. Sil even went so far as to message my husband saying as such, and calling me names on top of it. I messaged Sil about it, politely, asking, "Hey, why are you calling me names and saying I'm trying to break up the family? I don't know why you'd say or think those things. Is there some sort of misunderstanding here?" Sil reads my message, doesn't respond. Instead she messages my husband saying she doesn't want me contacting her any further. So I message Mill saying maybe we need to talk about some things because obviously something's wrong. She goes on to say how hurt she is that she hasn't seen our daughter in months, after all they've done for us, etc. I remind her that I had said, "Just message me and we can set up a visit," and she failed to message me, for months. Mill says she didn't feel obligated to message me. I'm sorry, but am I missing something here? I thought an open invitation was enough? Phil had the summer off, only doing odd jobs that he chooses when and how many to do. Mill is not working. My husband works full-time, we only have the one vehicle between us. I am not working, but full-time mommy at the moment. They have yet to come visit our home to see our daughter, we've only went to theirs. Is it too much to ask that they message me to set something up? Possibly come our way? I feel it's easier to come visit a baby than to pack a baby up to come see you, ya know? Things are pretty icy right now. Haven't spoken to any in-laws since the last debacle, about a week. Am I the asshole? Edit. I will add that my husband has pretty much avoided the entire situation thus far. He didn't even reply to Sil and Mill hasn't messaged him that I know of. Husband says he doesn't want to argue with them. Which partly hurts my feelings that he didn't defend me. At least tell Sil to not call me names. Seems he's just upset at everyone involved and wants to just bury it and move on. Could be he knows something I don't, since he grew up with them? You. Message me and we can set up a visit. Mill. Doesn't message you. No visit happens. Mill. Surprised Pikachu. Not the asshole. Let your husband handle Mill and Sil. They're going to twist anything you say. Funny how they're not blaming him for not bringing your infant around. Not the asshole. But where is your husband in all this? It's his family, he should be handling them. It sounds like Mill wants you to bend the knee to her. She is the final arbiter. You should pass everything past her. She is the alpha and omega of your lives. And Sil is supporting her. And since you have not bent the knee, they are browbeating DH to bring you into line. And not the asshole. Not the asshole. You don't get to claim you're being deprived of visits with someone if you've ignored invitations to visit them. Not the asshole. Info. During those 3 months, have they been in contact with your husband? He never stops by to see his parent? He never calls? He's never invited for Sunday dinner or something. Not the asshole. It seems like the mother-in-law is playing games with you to get you to toe the line and the sister-in-law is supporting her. You gave her ample opportunity to visit her granddaughter. She didn't get back to you, so she can't now claim that she hasn't been able to see her. It's probably time to just ignore these people. Lol. Not the asshole. Mill has a bee in her bonnet because you wouldn't bend to her will. Stick to your guns, and have a frank open conversation with your husband about how they're treating you, and how to move forward as a team. You are not being an ass, they are demanding and spiteful. Not the asshole. They are your spouse's parents. If they want a visit, have you guys visit, he can arrange. Disengage, redirect all inquiries to him. You manage your family, he manages his. If that means they never see your kid, that's on him. Am I the asshole for causing my husband to miss his trip by not packing his bag despite him repeatedly asking? My husband travels for work every few months. He's irresponsible with time and counts on others to do stuff for him using the "I'm tired" excuse. He's the breadwinner, by the way. He had a business trip and the day of the trip he saw me carrying the laundry basket and said, "Hey, can you pack my bag?" I asked why he didn't do it the night before and he said he was up all night playing Fortnite. I asked why can't he pack now and he replied, "I gotta go catch up with the boys before I leave the country." I said no and that he should do it himself. He asked why not and I told him that I had to do the laundry, then cook for the kids, then help them with homework, then wash the rugs, then clean the messy bathroom, then the playing room, then work on my garden project. He stood there with his eyebrow lifted up as I went on. I suggested he stays home, pack his own bag and help around till it was time for his trip. He didn't like my suggestion and complained about missing the boys and wanting to see them one last time and say goodbye before he leaves. He begged but I said no. He then suddenly went inside the bedroom. I thought he was packing? Grabbed his phone, keys and jacket and rushed out. I just went about my day. It was 5 o'clock and he hadn't returned yet. I was concerned, thinking he had little time and still hadn't packed yet. He returned home at 6, walked into the bedroom and started panicking, asking why his bag wasn't packed and ready yet. I told him he should ask himself since he stayed gone for hours. He said he was counting on me to pack his bag and even sent me a text hoping I'd eventually do it. I didn't see the text, and even if I did, I never agreed, so he shouldn't have assumed I was going to pack his bag for him. He got upset and started packing. His stuff was all over the place and he couldn't even find his papers. He was finally done and left. I then got an angry call from him asking if I was happy. I said why, what happened, and he said he missed his flight. Just like I wanted, he came home and lost it, saying I cost him his business trip, which supposed to earn him money, and made him look unreliable, unprofessional, and compromised his work after I refused to do him this small favor and pack his goddamn bag. I responded that he shouldn't have hung out with his buddies literally hours before his flight, but he said he believed this was done spitefully to get him to sit home with me. I was shocked. No words, just shocked face. He called his friend saying his trip didn't happen. Then turned to me and said thanks to me, then proceeded to ask where they were going to meet for dinner. He told me, no trip meaning I'll be home for the next couple of weeks. Isn't that what you wanted? Great, we'll both now stay home and wallow in misery, God bless. Then walked out. Am I the asshole? He said I just caused him issues at work. Should I have packed his bag anyway? Why he couldn't be on the next flight? Because since he missed his flight that the company was paying for, he was required to pay for the other flight or not go. He refused to pay, saying it wasn't his fault anyway, and decided to not go. Am I the asshole? Should I have packed his bag anyway? No, but you should be packing his bags now. Tell him he can come home once he starts acting like an adult and showing you some respect. Seriously, not the asshole, and I would consider counseling. Even if the rest of your relationship is sound. He's got a weird attitude and entitlement which would be better for everyone if he worked on. Not the asshole. Why is your husband behaving like a 5-year-old child? I would have packed all his bags after that. He can go stay with his little friends. He sees you slaving away and this is how he acts. You are cleaning, cooking, managing the kids and have projects of your own, and he still has the audacity to make you pack his undies whilst he goes out and plays with his friends? Yeah, it's a no for me. Your husband does not respect you nor the work you do around the house. He is not a partner, he is an extra child asking to be taken care of. Just throw the whole man away. Not the asshole. Made him look unreliable, unprofessional. So your unreliable, unprofessional husband is annoyed that you didn't go out of your way to make him seem reliable, professional? Not the asshole. Dude sounds like an absolute tool. Not the asshole, and also, if you miss a flight, the airline in general is pretty good about rebooking you on the next flight. It's not like he had to cancel the whole work trip. Just read the title. Not the asshole. He's an adult and you're not his mother. Edit. Read the post, and are you happy being married to him? Not the asshole. I'm sorry, what? Are you married to a child? This entire post is screaming divorce. Oh my god, not the asshole. If you want to keep this husband, I suggest you either go to couples therapy or continue this behavior and ignore his reactions, until he is better. He is extremely entitled and can't take responsibility for his actions.